Chasing your dreams is not for the faint of heart. Choosing to push yourself and seek discomfort is one of the most difficult things that you will do, but it's also one of the most rewarding. But if you're not willing to be true to yourself, you'll never know or understand the incredible fulfillment that could be waiting for you on the other side. Hello and welcome. My name is Hidona, electropop artist, music producer, and your inspirational gal pal. This is a wake-up call for you to stop living the status quo and start chasing your dreams. Full disclosure, I am 37 years old and I spent over 3 decades doing the exact opposite of chasing my dreams. I was living completely out of alignment and I was living for other people and their expectations of me instead of myself. If you have a dream and you're afraid to pursue it, this is your sign to start chasing it. Give yourself permission to even think it's possible. That's how it all started for me. I got this quiet little nudge from my soul to start pursuing music, and that was my sign. In this video, I'm going to share my story and some of the things I've learned along the way, but also some things I wish I knew when I first got started. Wherever you are, just know that by taking the first step, it is the greatest gift you can give yourself. At first, it's going to be really scary saying your dreams out loud, but once you keep doing it, it just becomes normal. And starting to do the thing will be scary at first, but then it'll dissipate as you keep doing it. First things first, get very comfortable with being uncomfortable. Chasing your dreams is not for the faint of heart. It takes a lot of courage and the willingness to do something despite the fear. And also remember that all successful people are very comfortable being uncomfortable. They are constantly taking risks, and that is why they're in the position where they are. That is my PSA for this video. You are welcome. The main reason why I want to talk about this is because when we can finally decondition ourselves from what society has programmed us to believe we want, then we can be truly free. And like I mentioned in my first video, I want to raise the collective consciousness. And I believe we can do that through art and living in full alignment of our soul's purpose. I've been able to express myself creatively for really the first time ever. And it's really exciting because I was always afraid to do it out of doubt and uncertainty and obviously a lot of fear. And I believe that I'm becoming the best version of myself, and that's what I want for everyone else. I obviously still have a lot of work to do, but I think the whole point is to learn and grow. Real talk here, this journey has not been easy. I am still dealing with a lot of fear and a lot of doubt, but I'm the happiest I've ever been before because I'm finally living within my purpose and I'm doing exactly what I am meant to be doing. All right, so how do we even get started with following our dreams? It all sounds very unrealistic and naive, but there are ways to do it. If you have a dream but you're not pursuing it yet and you have no idea where to start, here are 6 tips that I have for you. Okay, so step number 1, be really honest with yourself. Ask yourself, are you really happy doing what it is you're doing right now? Would you be happy doing this until you retire? Or are you actually sacrificing your happiness for other people, such as society, your boss, your parents, whoever? Are you actually currently fulfilled? If not, what is stopping you from changing your life? What fears, stories, or limiting beliefs are getting in your way? And think about this. If money were no object in your life at all, what is the one thing that you would want to do for the rest of your life? If you actually know what you want to do, but you're freaking out and saying, Hidona, I have way too many fears around rejection or failure or whatever it is, insert your fear here. I completely understand. Trust me, I have been exactly where you have been. I would say if you are afraid of the pain of failure or rejection, or you're afraid of sucking while you're learning to do the thing, just remember that all of that is a blip compared to the pain of regret that lasts a lifetime. And this is something that I wish I knew from the very beginning, because I feel as though everything would have just gone so much faster, or at least I would have struggled a little less at the beginning. Also, would you rather a lifetime of regret or freedom? Keep asking yourself that. To me, I think it's pretty simple what the answer is. All right, so step 2. If you know that you're unhappy, but you don't know what it is you want to do exactly, I would recommend reading up on the Japanese concept of Ikigai. I already talked about it briefly in my last video about finding your why. I would just read up on some resources online, because there's a ton that you can find out about it, and hopefully that will help you out. You can also find a career coach if you need some more structure. One of my old managers actually did that. She was not happy in her role, so she found a career coach and actually found out that she wanted to be a UX designer, and that is what she's doing now. Step number 3 is to determine your goals and be very clear about them. At the beginning, I had a very clear understanding of what my goals were. I wanted to be an artist, to create my own music, and I wanted to have a successful career in music and be able to make money from the music that I make so that I could leave my freelance job. I'm still working on number 3. I am not making any money yet, but that'll come as I start releasing more music. Do you want to cook or paint as a hobby? If so, that's amazing. And if you want to take classes because you think that's going to be fun, definitely do that. But if you want to make a career out of your passions, then you're going to want to set some very clear goals, and you'll want to find mentors or coaches or take courses where you can elevate your skills. No one's going to want to eat your pastries if they're not tasty, if your ego is preventing you from taking classes. Also, if you don't have anyone giving you constructive feedback, you're never going to get better at your craft. And that relates to step number 4, which is to identify the courses that you need and find the right coaches, guidance, and mentors for you. You need to find someone who's doing what you want to do at a very high level. That way, you'll be able to learn from them, and you can elevate your skills much faster than doing it all on your own. That's how I started. I knew that I had to take a production course just because I need more structure. So I found an in-person one. And then I also knew that I have never written a song before. So I enlisted the help of my vocal coach, who is also an amazing artist and producer. And through her, I've been able to get so much incredible feedback for my songs, not just with the lyrics, but also with the arrangement. She's just been able to help me polish my lyrics and polish the arrangement to make a much stronger song. Her advice has been crucial for me and has elevated my songs to a way that would never have been possible if I were just doing all of it by myself. I don't have a blueprint, and so I needed to learn from someone that has already put in the work as well. Because then that way, I know exactly what I need to work on and what I can just leave for the moment. I also only went up to level 2 in piano, if that, and so I had pretty much no music theory knowledge. And so luckily I have a friend who is great at music theory, but also great at teaching, so I enlisted his help as well, so that I could get some basic understanding and use that in my production. If money is an issue, there's always YouTube or the library. We live in such an information-rich age now that there is really no excuse not to be able to learn from others. And if you're anything like me and you get caught up in this really, really vicious cycle of thinking you don't know enough and you need to take all of the courses to compensate for that fear, this goes nicely into step number 5. As you're learning and absorbing information, put it into practice. This was very, very difficult for me. My limiting belief was that I didn't know enough about music, and so I took all the courses around production. I did multiple production courses. I did songwriting classes. I did poetry classes. I did more production classes. And it was all just an excuse not to actually produce. So don't be like me. Analysis paralysis is real. I completely understand, but just be aware of it. And if you catch yourself doing it, find a way to cut it out. After watching a dozen or so Dan Ko videos, I realized what the actual ideal way of learning was, which is the complete opposite of what I did. First is self-study. What is it that you really need to learn? Like I mentioned, there is a wealth of knowledge at your fingertips. There's YouTube, there are online courses, and there's just so much that you can learn about whatever topic it is that you want to. For me, I need more structure, which is why I took that initial in-person class. This was also pre-COVID, but I wasn't putting it into practice. I was way too afraid to open Ableton up. I kept acquiring more online courses, like I mentioned, out of fear, and just don't be like me. So once you learn the basics of something, put it into practice. If you're learning how to produce, just make music. Doesn't matter if it sucks, just create. Create and then share it with people. I think that's the biggest thing, is sharing it with the world and letting it be at whatever stage it is. You gotta get the bad ideas out before the good ideas can come out, but also you just gotta keep practicing and knowing that with every single day, you are gonna get better. It's kind of like going to the gym. Each day you show up, you will realize that you are getting faster and stronger. It's not always linear, but at least as you put in the time, after those weeks or months or years, you know that you're getting better. And also make sure you post online to show people what it is that you're doing. Show your progress, and even if people don't care, it's not about them at all. Use this as a journal to show yourself the progress that you've made after 6 months or a year or 5 years, and you can always take those videos or the content down after you've reached a certain level. In my first year, I actually gave myself a challenge for 2 weeks to produce something new every day. It didn't have to be an entire song, it was just a beat. And I also challenged myself to post it every day. And you can still see those videos on my feed. And it's nice to look back on that because it reminds me of where I was and how far I've come since then. And this is why it's so important to show your work, but also keep yourself accountable. And sometimes you gotta just fall completely on your face and fail, because that's really the only way you can learn. Failure is not a bad thing as long as you actually learn something from it. And I think people are so afraid of failing, but it's only a bad thing if you don't take any lessons from it. Also, these YouTube videos that I'm making could suck completely and I could fall on my face, but I'm using this as an experiment to see where this goes. And if it goes nowhere, that's fine. But at least I tried. And I think that's the most important thing. And last but not least, step number 6, I think, is probably one of the most important things you can do, but it is to do some shadow work. I'm gonna do an entire video about shadow work and how it has helped me in my journey. But essentially, shadow work is all about acknowledging the parts of you that you want to hide out of shame or fear or negative thoughts. Shadow work allows you to wake up from any unconscious patterns that you've lived with your entire life so you can choose new beliefs and ways to live. Honestly, shadow work has been so pivotal for me in the last 4 years, and it's really allowed me to work through all my fears and limiting beliefs so I could choose a different story. I really would not be here at all if I did not do the work on myself in the last 4 years. So I think this is such an important step for anyone on this journey. I hope you found something useful from the steps that I gave, but also something that might help you is making an anti-vision for yourself. That really helped keep me on track as well. I remember when I was 32 working freelance, I was like, oh my God, I cannot imagine myself working in advertising still when I'm 40. That to me was a worst case scenario, and I had to figure out how I could not let that happen. So to me, that was an anti-vision. And I think it would also be really beneficial if you made one for yourself as well, because it'll really motivate you to get past the fear and really take that first step. Also, like I mentioned in my last video, understanding my why was another crucial thing for me. So these things really helped keep me on the path of this journey. And even though it's been really difficult understanding my why and having an anti-vision, but also doing the shadow work really helped me through it all. I want to go back to my earlier point and talk about how chasing your dreams is not for the faint of heart. Choosing to push yourself and seek discomfort is one of the most difficult things that you will do, but it's also one of the most rewarding. If people are living in their comfort zones and they're really happy, that's great for them. And I am kind of envious of those people because I feel like their lives are so much easier. But I also think that most people choose to live in comfort because they are way too afraid of acknowledging what it is they really want. They are choosing to live in their comfort zones because they're actually too afraid to face the unknown. But if you're not willing to be true to yourself, you'll never know or understand the incredible fulfillment that could be waiting for you on the other side. There's always a reward when you take a risk that is fully in alignment with your true self. And I know it's super scary. I have felt so nauseous doing certain things that really scared me, but they've always led me to the most amazing experiences that I am so grateful for and that I've learned a lot from. I've grown so much each and every time I've been able to do the things that scare me the most, but a lot of people are not willing to take those steps. So I follow someone called Manifestation Babe, and I love how she summed it up in one of her episodes. What she says is that we have one of two choices. You can run and hide and stay the course, or take the scarier path, which will expand your comfort zone. With the first option, you'll continue living the same life you always have been, and nothing will change. There's gonna be very little reward because you're not pushing yourself. The second option will be more difficult and more challenging, and it's gonna inevitably push you to your edge, but it's gonna bring you so much more reward. By choosing the more difficult road, you're actually rewiring your nervous system to be able to handle more discomfort. This will allow you to grow and push yourself, and you'll be able to achieve things that you never thought were possible. You need to face your biggest fears to overcome them, and then as a result, you're gonna feel unstoppable. I am still working on facing my biggest fears. Do you think it is normal for me to go to open mics, start a YouTube channel, put myself out there? It is very uncomfortable for me to do any of these things. It actually took me 3 years to step foot into an open mic. My friend told me that I should start a YouTube channel over a year ago, but I never took her seriously until maybe a few months ago. And I am still not even posting consistently on social media. So I know I may be a Leo, but I am very comfortable staying out of the spotlight so I can avoid rejection and judgment, some of my biggest fears. But I am consciously trying to push myself every day because I know this is all a part of my purpose and I know that I am on a mission. With that, I will leave you with a quote by Rumi. Let the beauty of what you love be what you do. I really hope there was a nugget of information that helped you in some way, shape, or form. Let me know if you came to any realizations while watching. I would love to hear them, and I would love to know if you're finally allowing yourself to take the first step. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.